I am joined today by the coolest art student, the DJ with the mostest, Usher. Oh, I'm sorry. Blair Somerville.
I mean, I could be Usher for today. I could try. I don't think I'm quite as smooth. And I'm joined by Veronica Dress. She's a sexuality educator, coach, intimacy director for theater, and the person that I would nominate as most likely to break out into choreographed routine at a house party.
You're not wrong, friend. You are not wrong. Yeah, I'm excited to hear your relationship therapist take on this gem of a film. So
oh my God.
Strap in, strap on, baby. I'm ready.
Yeah, so we are talking today about She's All That, which I had actually never seen before. Had you seen it before, Veronica?
No. Last night was my first viewing, and it was an experience.
Yeah, so there's so much to say about it, but first some background. So She's All That is a 1999 American teen romantic comedy film. The basic summary is that after being dumped by his girlfriend, Zach boasts that he can make any girl at the high school popular. It is a modern adaptation of George Bernard Shaw's play Pygmalion and classic movie.
I wrote that in my notes.
I wrote that in your notes. And My Fair Lady.
I have a line that just says Pygmalion, which obviously My Fair Lady. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've actually also never seen My Fair Lady. So.
I don't know if we've talked about this. I'm a huge Audrey Hepburn fan. I've seen most of her films because I was a manic pixie dream child, and I don't love My Fair Lady, but I respect the game.
Yeah,
I guess is what I would say there.
Yeah, I mean, based on the general arc of this movie, I also have some questions about My Fair Lady, but that's neither here nor there because today we're talking about She's All That. It actually got mixed reviews, I saw on Wikipedia. So critics were not super into this movie at the time. Not because of the actors, but because of the script. But it was super, super popular. It got #1 at the box office in its first week of release.
Well, what was it up against, I wonder?
Oh, I should have looked that up. But, I just,
it's okay. We'll follow up. We
can follow up later. And also the song Kiss Me reached #2 on Billboard's Hot 100 and stayed there for 16 weeks in the top 10.
Wait, was this song written for the movie?
I don't think it was, because the way it was phrased on Wikipedia is just after featuring in the film.
Okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's important information. That song is a moment of the
I
90s.
know. I was like, whoa, is that what blew this song up? Because I love that song. And I remember it being everywhere when I was growing up. I thought it was really interesting. A couple other tidbits from Wikipedia, because I am not a real researcher and not like a real film commenter or critic. So Wikipedia is my main brief background.
You're my favorite film critic.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for boosting up my ego, Veronica. The director indicated that he was well aware it was implausible to suggest that Rachel Lee Cook is ugly as part of the film. She's our main lady. And he said, but, in Hollywood, you cast the beautiful girl. And the audience just has to suspend their disbelief. So I thought that was interesting that I guess outside of the film, there's some acknowledgement that this is ridiculous to suggest that Rachel Lee Cook, protagonist Lainey, is not a beautiful and traditionally beautiful at that woman.
Yes.
But the film, of course, just takes it at face value that she's a dork who's not very good looking.
Because she wears paint splattered suspenders.
She wears funky
and has
little
a dead
outfits. And supposedly doesn't wear makeup, but her no makeup look clearly includes makeup for film.
Yes, she's doing that French 2025 thing where it's like the no makeup.
Yes, exactly. Fun fact, the high school scenes are shot at the same high school where Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Beverly Hills 90210 also filmed.
Okay, well, did you see that Buffy was in the
cameo?
lunchroom?
I saw that. I saw that she did not have a speaking part because they did not want to pay her for her speaking part. But I thought that was so freaking cute. Also because, spoiler for the cast, I suppose, we have Freddie Prinze Jr. playing our main guy, Zach. who is also Fred in the Scooby-Doo movie. Matthew Lillard, who is Shaggy from Scooby-Doo movie, makes an appearance in here. I love Matthew Lillard. And then we also have Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I love him.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, Daphne from Scooby-Doo. So we're really only missing Velma.
You know, I never saw the Scooby-Doo movie, so I can't speak to all of that. But I am a Matthew Lillard stan from the Scream days. I love. Actually, we should add that to our list for a Halloween spectacular. We should watch.
Okay,
Scream.
we can add Scream.
I love me some Matthew Lillard, and I know that he plays an asshole comedically so in everything, but he does it so well, and he improvs most of it, and it just brings me joy.
He's
really
great,
does.
and he gets to be a really endearing character, Shaggy in Scooby-Doo.
I know. This is so exciting. Okay. So basically, if you, listener, have not seen She's All That either, or read the book Pygmalion, or seen My Fair Lady, maybe you've seen 10 Things I Hate About You, because it's a very similar plot line, which if we were to only focus on the Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles of it all, in that she's tortured, she's serious, she's stunning in a, Western colonial, white supremacist patriarchy sort of standard way, but she also thinks, and so she's supposed to be ugly. And then there's a bet, and then oops, we fall in love. Yeah. And we didn't plan for that.
So many
on the bet.
So many of these rom-coms have that sort of premise that like there's something pretend about it from at least one of the participants, and then it becomes real. But yeah, we'll go into our summary. That's our little background info about some of the actors. Tidbit about filming location. We open up, we see our leading lady, Lainey, played by Rachel Lee Cook. She's a mixed media artist. She's an intellectual. She's informed about world politics and social issues. We also immediately see that we know because she's doing an art piece about, like, I think it was a war in Africa. I think it was. Throughout the film, she'll talk about different social issues and point things out. And
well, I was just going to say we know that because she wears glasses. That's the only thing, Yeah,
she wears glasses and she has brown hair that is not, like, done up. It's just sort of down.
So that's all you need to know. In 90s shorthand,
she's got glasses.
That's the nerd right there.
I also kind of appreciated we get to see she's not afraid to be gross to bully her brother, her younger brother, which is important. And we also learn immediately on opening, she's from a working class family. Her dad runs a pool business, a pool maintenance business.
Like cleaning swimming pools.
Yes. And then also we contrast with Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Zach, our main guy. He's very popular with all the girls. They're swooning over him, but he's calling them the wrong names. And he also rolled up in a very fancy car to school. So,
and he's got his little Letterman jacket, and he has his face plastered all over the school on flyers because he's like student council president.
Yeah,
that man does it all.
He does it all.
He has time to do it all and to be fourth in the class amidst
fourth highest GPA in the class. We find out later. So he's not just all looks. He's got book smarts, at least, even if he's interpersonally having some difficulties, perhaps. We learn that they are both seniors in high school. We're returning from spring break. Everybody's talking about the upcoming prom. Almost immediately, we see Zach and his girlfriend, Taylor. She breaks up with him.
Oh, my gosh. My first note is Taylor's directness.
Yeah.
I loved.
I know.
She goes on to be a terror throughout the entire movie. But the fact that they come back from spring break and she just turns around, they're not even in the building yet. And she's like, I think things are done. I think it's time for me to move on. Okay, directness.
Yeah, and there wasn't any like, oh no, he finds out from somebody else that she cheated on him on spring break. She goes straight to him and says, so let me tell you about it. We're done. I'm seeing someone else. I started seeing them on spring break. It's Shaggy, Matthew Lillard, because he's on the real world.
It's the most 1999 movie there ever was. When we were watching this last night, my partner was sitting next to me and I was like, do you know what the real world is? And they were like, not really.
No.
And I had to pause the film. My partner is only 5 years younger than I.
Wow.
But that digital divide is real. There is just a pop culture gap for us, and apparently the real world is in that chasm.
Well, then I guess the real world was just sort of a reality TV. I guess it's a little Love Island for a more modern show, but not as much competition or like voting out going on. It just sort of follows people artificially.
Yeah, there's no structure. 7 strangers forced to live in a house.
Constantly around each other.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. It's like, it's like, what'll happen? What'll happen when you put these 7 hot people who don't know each other in a house together?
Tell me, what did you think? Because as she explains to him why they're over, we get this like flashback of her spring break. What did you think of the footage of her on spring break partying, dancing?
It gave me such flashbacks to after school MTV, where it would be, I forget who the host was, that they would travel around to different spring break towns and they would be like video DJing the top 100 or whatever, top 10 music videos from these spring break locations. And it was that. And I remember as a kid watching it because I was a little young. I wasn't in that age range. I was 9 when this movie came out. But I remember like seeing those spring break video
people
DJ
in their bathing suits dancing on the beach
and being like, yeah. And I remember just being like, I don't know that this feels respectful, but they all seem to be having fun and I'm 9. Like that was as far as I went. But what I loved is that through the story Taylor tells, like she's in her power the whole time. Like I think Taylor is a demonstration of a person, especially like in a movie that is largely just objectifying women. I think, and like very much through the male gaze. I feel like Taylor, even though she's the villain, or maybe because she's the villain, we see her just like own her sexuality and be like, yeah, I was dancing on one of the floats, which is a coveted position in the pool, and bumped into Matthew Lillard, aka Brock Hudson.
No,
not Rock Hudson. Old Hollywood star. No. Brock with a B. And they just hit it off and roll around in the bed for all of spring break.
I did appreciate that the way they depicted sex was simply, literally rolling back and forth in the bed.
Rolling around in the sheets.
That was fun.
I know. I was like, the intimacy director in me is like, see? We are depicting what's supposed to be scandalous, hot and heavy, slightly comedic sex. And how we do that is just people rolling around in a flat sheet back and forth like rolling pins. And everyone had a great time.
Yeah, I thought that was where the comedy element came into. Like, it's a little silly, but also clear what we're meant to take away from that. And she also, at like, her voiceover over that scene was something like, he just knew what I was thinking without me having to ask for it. Which gives us a little implication that maybe Freddie Prinze Jr. is not very generous or sufficient lover for her.
Yeah, that could be. He seems very wrapped up in himself, so that would make sense.
I also love that she immediately reassures him, like, oh, we'll still go to prom, though. It's okay. Like, we're going to be king and queen, so we'll totally go together. And she also, I thought this was interesting, says, did you honestly think I was going to leave for college still dating you? That's so sweet.
I know. And then there's a callback to that later.
Yes.
Yeah, that she... Like, I'm with her up until that line where she's like, oh, you sweet dum-dum. That's so cute. You thought that we liked each other like that, basically, right? Like, you thought this was anything more than a relationship of social status and hot people being together. Which, the directness, good for her. But if we're thinking about, like, if this is the only sex ed we're getting, is she's all that?
Uh-oh.
Right, that like the only woman in the film who I don't know. We'll talk about Lainey. She speaks her mind too, which I think is really important in helping me even be able to sit through. But it's not a great message.
Yeah, it's really not. But it's interesting because I never saw this movie growing up, but around the same time and when I was in high school, I also very much got the message, and I'm not even sure where from, that high school relationships like don't last. It's a bad idea to go to college in a relationship with someone from high school, regardless of if you go to the same college or not. And I thought it was interesting that that was reinforced pretty explicitly here by Taylor, saying that, yeah, no, these relationships, they're kind of not real. We're obviously not staying together going into college.
I feel like it's kind of a double bind, or like it's very mixed messaging, because at the same time, high school sweethearts are lifted as like
an
the
ideal
classic love story. Right. I think largely that was an ideal that perhaps their parents' generation had lived into, right? That not as many people were leaving hometowns or going away for college or for different like trade opportunities in that era. So the people that you were living near in your town really were your options. And then what with all the war all the time, it having someone to write home to was a thing. And so I think those circumstances were very different perhaps than what we see in She's All That, obviously. But it almost feels like this shift away from the high school sweetheart as a fairy tale thing is a pretty direct response to, oh, but wait, we have options that are different. And I think there's a bit of it from a Taylor perspective that is rooted in like gender roles and like new opportunities or more socially acceptable opportunities for women to like prioritize their career and their life. Obviously, this is very specifically focusing on a bunch of hot white people, so there's not a ton of nuance. I don't know if you're surprised, listener, that there's not a ton of social nuance in She's All That. And the fact that we're even having this conversation is hilarious in many ways, because even the people who created it are like, LOL, yeah, no, we know. This is ridiculous.
It is really interesting. And I guess I wonder, so we know that the film was super popular at the time, although it wasn't critically well received. We've seen, it's like been the first 10 minutes of the film that we've covered so far. And already we've gotten a lot of, like you said, sort of mixed messages almost, right? Like we've got that teenage relationships are sort of silly, but also we know that high school sweethearts are kind of lifted up as sort of an ideal, that Taylor is considered like a very hot person at school. She's super popular, but she's also not portrayed particularly sympathetically. Like she's given very much a mean girl attitude and vibe. I don't think we're supposed to like her as an audience. So I wonder, what do you think already at the beginning, as like the premise of things we're supposed to already know and just accept? What do you think teenage audiences watching this at the time are taking away from even just this first part of the movie?
Well, I think there's such shorthand for the structure of the hierarchy of a school, right? That all we need to know is that he is walking in wearing that jacket and that he has his basically headshot. It's his yearbook picture, but you know, it's probably literally the man's headshot as plastered all over the hallways as student council president. And we're like, okay, yeah, well, he's the popular guy. That's all we need to know, because this girl wears glasses and overalls and is passionate about something that is not...
That's unattractive.
Men, necessarily. That it's like, it's its own thing, right? It's like the only part of the film that would pass the Bechdel test is the parts where she's in her art class talking about things. I think has become such a trope and stereotype by this point, by the year of our Lord 1999, that we're like, yeah, okay. This is all I need to know. You could probably draw a stick figure drawing of the group dynamic, and a teenager in the 90s would be like, I got it. Let's keep it moving. And that he is not used to rejection, especially from women, especially from other hot people.
Yeah.
Because even the first time he approaches Lainey, which we'll get to in a second, she walks away because she's like, no, not interested. Thank you so much. And that is earth-shattering
to
for him. Yeah. But even being rejected by someone as quote unquote equally hot as him is not a normal day for our Zach Seiler, you know?
Yeah. I guess we get that there's a degree of like entitlement, and also that I guess while Taylor's actions aren't particularly sympathetic, they are meant to be understandable. Like, well, yeah, obviously she leaves him for the hotter or higher social status guy. That's just what you do, especially when you're an attractive woman. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's stunned by this because he's the hottest guy in school. He should have whatever girl he wants, really.
And I think what makes him a sympathetic character, in as far as he is a sympathetic character, or we're supposed to believe it, is that he seems naive to a lot of it, or we're meant to think he is naive to a lot of it. Mm-hmm. That when he begins to realize how limited his life and worldview have been, he takes action that is supposed to be what we would want him to do. Yeah. But there is like, he's simultaneously supposed to be really intelligent, but like you said, his emotional intelligence is mm-hmm. like, what? I didn't realize that I took people for granted. I didn't realize I was an asshole. It's like you're literally making bets and mm-hmm. like talking about, what did he call? There was a girl, short, decent rack, Chelsea Clinton thing going on is a direct quote that I wrote down.
Yeah, once they start shopping. Okay, so moving to get to the bet that happens. That's kind of the central plot of the movie, really. Mm-hmm. We go from here where Taylor breaks up with Zach. We see that Lainey is in her art class. She's making art with a message, but her teacher is telling her it doesn't have enough of her in it. She's not being very vulnerable about herself within her art. Some of the other girls start bullying her. They tell her to
Clea
kill
Duvall
herself.
Bullying her.
And then the movie just moves past this. I thought that was kind of surprising that they could be just so blunt about that and then just move on tonally.
I mean, you know, content warning slightly for gun violence here, mm-hmm. but I was so struck by that and struck by later on there's someone wearing a t-shirt with a giant gun on it that says kill all artists.
Yes, in the school.
I know, but then I looked it up. Columbine happened in 1999.
Oh my God.
So I think the world we swim in now as viewers of, there is no world in which you would be wearing that t-shirt at school or putting it in a movie like that, unless you are supposed to be, unless there's a specific storytelling piece to it, is such a product of what has happened since, right? Like that was not, it was a different world. But yeah, the kill yourself, I was like,
I know.
Clea Duvall,
I was
do
stunned.
That.
So yeah, she's getting bullied pretty severely, even in her art class, which just seems like her space. Like that's her safe space, her thing that she really adores. And again, like it's so abrupt because we go from that to Usher, apparently my character, which I think I would be as like petty and nosy as this, but I would not be as smooth or lyrically gifted as Usher.
No one is.
He's on the intercom. He's on the intercom announcing Taylor and Zach's breakup to the whole school.
He's the school DJ. Like, he plays music between classes, which maybe was a thing. I can't speak to it. What a time.
That was never a thing for me. I certainly didn't experience that. Maybe California's different.
I know, because they have the cool kind of school where you walk outside to go between classes. To me, growing up in the Northeast, watching Disney Channel original movies, that was like a mystical land when that was depicted. Wow. So who knows? Maybe they had DJs.
So in the Southeast, in my high school, we would walk outside between buildings to go to class. But there was certainly no music being blasted everywhere. And there was certainly no, like, later at the prom, there's this, like, beautiful large staircase and, like, balconies and things at this indoor event space they have on campus, apparently. I certainly didn't have that.
I think their prom is on location. Their prom isn't in the school.
It freaking better be, because that was wild. Zach's friends call him a bitch boy now because he has been broken up with. So, interesting. We see Matthew Lillard. He's making out with Taylor very messily in front of everybody. We get a little bit more of your objectification. Zach is saying he could bump uglies with any girl in the school. I'm glad that phrase has died out for the most part. It's a very unappealing phrase to me.
There was a lot of, every guy wants to nail her, you know? Like, and that's the speaking voice that every male actor uses in this film. Or at least let me be specific. Every white male actor. It's like, Laney Bugs. It's the weird, it's like 90s boy vocal fry. It's terrible.
Yes. Yeah, and Dule Hill is in this. He does not speak in quite the same way. They do give him a little light douchebag veneer because he's part of this friend group. But I just love Dule Hill, so I can never see him in that light, to be honest with you. Now we come to the central bed of the movie. Zach and Dean, his most toxic friend, are talking about Taylor breaking up with him. They're talking about prom. Zach is saying that basically by dating a girl, he can make her prom queen because he's so hot and cool and popular. But Dean says, okay, fine, I'll pick out the girl. And they say, let's go shopping. And start walking around, pointing out women, discussing them. They spot Lainey dropping her art supplies. Zach says, no. Quote, fat I can handle, weird boobs, bad personality, maybe some sort of fungus. Scary and inaccessible is another story.
Right. And we get this from her tripping with an armful of art canvases.
Well, I guess she's known to him somehow and she's scary and inaccessible, which is funny because she is inaccessible, but she doesn't do anything scary.
We see her in a falafel hat several times throughout this film. Scary is not the word.
Well, I guess that's interesting, though, because you mentioned that shortly after this is when it occurs, he tries to introduce himself because Dean obviously picks Lainey as the girl that he has to make into prom queen for the bet. So Zach goes and tries to introduce himself. She's having none of it. She sort of flat out ignores him and doesn't really respond at all. And he's very embarrassed. And I wonder if that's what he means by scary, is that she clearly doesn't give a shit about him and his status.
Yeah. She's scary in that she's direct with him and doesn't care about his power is what's scary. Yeah. Which, good. Be scared, Freddie Prinze Jr. Yeah. I think that he approaches that conversation where he introduces himself in such a... He is so pleased with himself at all times. Like, so entitled, and is just like, well, of course I'll speak to this girl. I'll deign to speak to her. And she'll fall in love with me. Like, why wouldn't she want to date me? And I just love it. I love how much she just claps back at him the whole movie. But it gets weird to me. There's not really a ton of, for me, there's not a ton of journey between why are you here? Yeah. Stop hanging out with me. Not in a like, you don't really like me. I'm just a girl. Oh, meh, meh, meh. It wasn't like that. It was very much... Yeah. Go away. You're bugging me. I'm not interested. Get out of here. And then all of a sudden they're into each other. I miss where that transition takes place. It all moves very quickly.
It does. It does move pretty quickly. I can see why the script got some criticism. And I do just need to point out, I did like your little almost Mae West kind of voice that you were doing. And we're going to need more of that at some point in the future on the podcast. I just can't let that slide without commenting. But now we're able to move on. Okay. We see Zach at home. He's got a sister who's younger, who seems to be sexually experienced in some regard because she asks him who's the lucky rebound skank. He says he has a project. She tries to explain to him, well, you might have to make like literal actual effort to get to know this girl. And then she says she's going to her friend's house. Don't tell her parents. Her cute brother who just got kicked out of military school is there. The bad boy, I suppose, is her type.
I just to zoom out for just the briefest of seconds, I think when we think about the messages or expectations that these kinds of movies gave me as a young person who is watching from coming home from my Catholic school at 9 years old in suburban Pennsylvania, I think I just assumed, and maybe this was true, but not the world I was living in, that like every teenager is actually 25 years old and fucking.
Yes.
Everybody. Everyone is just getting home from school, has no homework, apparently, and is just getting out there and hooking up. And that's the whole gig. The whole gig is getting out there and fucking, which maybe is true for some people. I was a nerd, I guess, so I didn't know. But
yeah,
it definitely, like, that was my point of reference for what normal was supposed to be. And I was not that. It was very much the thing.
Yes. I think I also very much got that message seeing, not this particular movie, but movies like this and like MTV in general was like, okay, yeah, so teenagers are all, we're supposed to be very mature. We're supposed to be very hot. We're supposed to be very desirable. And we're supposed to be like having sex, or at least having the option of having sex, like all the time.
Yeah.
Homework should take like 0 time. And that was very much not me. I didn't really have a lot of social connections. I didn't necessarily have a lot of interest at sex at the time. A lot of my peers were extraordinarily unappealing to me. I was going through my own, like, well, you know, what am I supposed to find attractive little journey for myself as a baby queer, unbeknownst to me, that left me feeling sort of confused seeing stuff like this. And I can only imagine how many other people who just had other concerns in their lives were like, what? So wait, I'm supposed to think that like dating and sex is like the most important thing? I'm supposed to be doing this left and right all the time after school and sneaking out, and like, wow, that's not me. Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I didn't know what was rooted in reality that wasn't mine, or what was Hollywood doing Hollywood's thing, right? I think what is slightly different now is the internet and social media. Like, I didn't have a point of reference to look and see what other real young people my age were out in the world doing. I just had this. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's what my life's supposed to look like. It does not.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yes. And I think something that I did very much internalize was like you're kind of saying, we see that Zach, I keep wanting to just call him Freddy, because I think of him as Fred from Scooby-Doo and Freddie Prinze Jr. first and foremost. Zach's character he's very smart. He's got his Letterman's jacket. He's on the soccer team. He's popular. He's attractive. He's secretly stockpiling acceptance letters to like every single Ivy League school in his room to keep them a secret from his dad, which is a whole other thing.
Comedic as all get out to me.
That he has applied to and gotten into all of these schools, apparently every single one. I think I did internalize that type of standard for myself. It's like, oh, so I should be able to be smart. I should be able to be attractive. I should be able to do literally everything and have time to just kind of lounge around, do whatever, hang out with my friends. It shouldn't be that hard
and get into an Ivy League
for me to do that. Yeah, and get into all the Ivy Leagues.
Yes, every single one. I was so surprised at we know that they're going to give us some sort of backstory for Freddie Prinze Jr. that's supposed to make us see his humanity. And so when he goes home and his dad is like, have you heard back from Dartmouth yet? And he's like, oh, no, not yet. Maybe by Friday. I immediately assumed that he was like struggling in school and like didn't want to go down his dad's path, and he wanted to be a dancer or something, right?
Yes.
And he doesn't want to go down his dad's path. But we see him go up to his room, which is the Sears Macy's home model of all-American teen boy, right? Like, that's what this bedroom's supposed to be. And he's sad, and he, like, pulls out this file of paper, which I'm thinking is him about to start his application to Dartmouth, maybe. Or, like, I thought the gig was going to be
a stack of rejection letters.
Yes, I thought it was going to be rejection, or that he hadn't even applied. And to see that it's just all caps, congratulations with 1,000 exclamation points in these letters from Ivy League.
Yeah. Utterly ridiculous.
It's so funny. And I was like, this is your deeply relatable human interest piece, is that you are brilliant and you don't want to be. Okay.
Right. It's kind of funny to me that like Lainey's, how her character unfolds is like, yeah, she's a bit like harsh or inaccessible emotionally. She is supposed to be frumpy or something because of her glasses, I guess. But she's actually really beautiful. She's really sweet. She's thoughtful. She's smart. Her mom died when she was young of cancer, and that's been really hard for her and her family. And that the equivalent journey for Zach is his dad really wants him to go to Dartmouth. And that's like it. He's smart, he's hot, he's successful, he's confident. But his dad wants him to go to Dartmouth really bad because that's where he went. And Freddie doesn't want to go to Dartmouth. He wants to go to any other Ivy League, which he got into all of them, so he can do whatever he wants. And he's just a little indecisive. That's his journey. And those are supposed to be equivalent.
I love that Lainey's response when he tells her this. It's like he's expecting her to be like, you poor thing, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. But she's like, okay, you poor baby. Yeah. Your sad story is that there's a picture of you at the zoo on your dad's shoulders wearing a Dartmouth sweatshirt. And he goes, it's emblematic.
Yeah, it was wild. And it's a little strange that they just sort of move on from that. But like, yeah, so we start to get into his backstory a bit, which ultimately is my dad really wants me to go to Dartmouth. And then we see Lainey working at the falafel place, and she's trying to work with a customer. Zach comes in and is super rude. He just talks over the customer at her while she's trying to fucking work.
Yeah, and is like, can you take a break? I'm sorry, Zach. No, I cannot. I'm wearing
literally
a falafel
with a customer
crown.
right now.
And this man is asking if he wants his balls supersized. So, yeah, I need to stand here and be minorly sexually harassed by this middle-aged man who says supersize my balls several times while my best friend watches.
And she assumes at first that he wants tutoring because he assumes that she's a dork. And then he brags and says, I have the 4th highest GPA in the class. I don't need your help intellectually. Thank you very much. But he says, I want to talk to you about art. And lies that he's in an independent study. Lainey at first is very much like, okay, this is bullshit. I'm not dealing with this.
Because they have not a single scene where she's helping him with any art.
No. Well, I guess we get that in a second. Her friend, though, is like, the best looking guy in the school is stalking you, and you're not the least bit curious. And so he gives his ticket to this performance art show to Freddie. And then she says, fine, I'll meet you at the show. And he says, do you want dinner beforehand? She says, no, I'll see you at the show. Yep. Leave me alone. I need to go to work.
Love it. Yeah.
Okay, give me your summary of because we do get to see the performance art show. And as someone who's been much more involved in theater than I have, I want to hear you tell us about the performance art show.
Oh, it is so bizarre and I love it. It is the only scene in which I like Freddie Prinze Jr., I think. So they go to this art show, and I thought it was like they were going to a concert. No, it is like a performance art piece, and it's just a stereotype of a stereotype. There's like celestial backgrounds like projected all over the stage, and there's like 15 people under this elastic kind of like I don't even know how you would describe them. Mr. G wears one in Summer Heights High, but it's almost like a lycra bodysuit that is like a sleeping bag that your hands and legs push out against. It's very odd. You've seen them, but
it's almost like being on the inside of a deflated balloon.
Yeah, that's supposed to be like a womb or something. So they're shouting nonsensical phrases. Everyone in the audience is taking it super seriously. Freddie Prinze Jr. is looking around like, what? I don't get it. And
he clearly doesn't
at the end, this man in a diaper gets out of the deflated balloon and then enters Lainey in this all white leotard dress thing with a face, like her face is painted ghost white with like dark lips and I think that's kind of like there's not a ton of bedazzlement to her face paint. And she just swaddles the men on stage like they're a family who've just survived the Titanic, and that's it. And everyone's really moved. But then the best thing happens, which is the man in the diaper comes back on stage and says, Lainey Boggs has told us there's a new artist in the house tonight. Is there a Zach Seiler here? And he gets up. And they start playing the same celestial background projections and the same hippy-dippy kind of EDM-y sort of music. And he pulls out his hacky sack and does an emotional hacky sack monologue about never let the ball drop. Everyone's relying on you, Zach.
We're in the 90s. We've got an emotional hacky sack. emotional hacky sack performance with beautiful cutaways to the stunt double doing the hacky sack. Because you know Freddie Prinze Jr. does not know how to do a hacky sack. And he's always like, never let it drop. Everybody's relying on you, Zach.
You have to perform, Zach. You have to do it, Zach. You have to get it right, Zach. Don't let it drop. And then it drops, and he says, sooner or later, it has to drop. And everyone
Which
applauds.
Is so, again, very weird because his character arc is like, Dad wants me to go to Dartmouth, but I don't want to go to Dartmouth. It's not like I feel crushed under the pressure to perform perfectly, athletically, and
because
academically.
He does do it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, apparently that doesn't bother him, but he pulled this hacky sack performance out of his ass about perfectionism, and she seemed into it. They talk after the show.
If they had one more date before this date, here's what I want. This is me as a critic. I think in order for this very quick timeline of falling for each other to make a bit more sense, I want them to have one awkward date before this one, where she's still kind of writing him off. And he's persistent, which is annoying and, not rooted in consent culture. But that's what the 90s would give us, would be him being persistent. And then they would go to this, and then she would see him in a different light. That I could have a little bit more grace for. But this was first date. He surprises her. They talk after, and it's fine. But then she immediately at the crosswalk is like, I'm getting out of here. This isn't it. Like, I'm not. I see right through you. So,
because he tries the whole, why do you wear glasses? You ever wear contacts? Your eyes are beautiful. Really and that makes her, she's like, okay, I'm getting out of here. This is bullshit. You're done. And I think you're right. If they had one more date, either before or after, frankly, and what would do it for me is if he doesn't know what he's doing, if he does an actual bad job at something for once, and then she is good at it and has to help him. Like if he was working on his hacky sack performance and was like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, yeah, your current idea sucks ass. Let me help you because I'm an artist. And he's humbled by that. I think that would have done a lot to make their relationship more believable. The performance art piece, the emotional hacky sacking, and then your eyes are beautiful without your glasses. And then she says, fuck you. She leaves. We also see Matthew, then we get more Matthew Lillard. He's watching himself on TV.
On Taylor's the real world.
She is going to town, licking his chest. And he asks her to stop because he's like, I'm trying to watch this. And he's like mouthing along with the things he says on the show. She's annoyed and storms out. I loved this little scene.
It is the most explicit and overt statement of values for this relationship. No question. Right?
Yeah.
He is obsessed with himself and he is obsessed with her being obsessed with him. And she wants validation. And for this power exchange to go the way she wants it to, and it is not going the way she wants it to, but she wants to keep coming back for more because she is not used to being challenged either. And she storms out and he watches himself on the real world. It's chef's kiss.
It is. And so, okay, we've seen a little more of the development of Zach and Lainey's relationship. I think at this point in the movie, we can tell that they're going to get together. We've seen a little more in contrast of Taylor and her relationship with Matthew Lillard. What do you think as an audience at this point, especially as a teen audience, because this is marketed towards teens, we're taking away about how relationships are supposed to work, quote unquote, supposed?
There's an element of karma that is implied in all of this. We're like, well, if you cheat on this guy, then your next relationship's going to go poorly because that's what you get. That's what you deserve. I think that there's a punishment for people who are clear about what they want sexually. If it's a woman, right? If you are a woman who is sexually assertive and clear about what you want, then you will be punished. And if a hot enough man pretends to pay attention to you, you should be grateful and you should do emotional labor to make sure that he's happy, right? This whole film, whether it's for her dad or her brother or Freddie Prinze Jr. or her best friend who's a dude, Lainey's just out here making choices that meet everybody else's need but her own. That's the whole thing. And that's what it means to be the leading girl.
Yeah.
I think the rest of this journey goes fine. Like, they're at the beach, they have fun, they're leaving the beach, they invite her to a party. Yeah. She's like, I have to stay home and clean because I'm Cinderella.
Yes, and Zach pretends to not be pushy about it, but then later shows up at her house
uninvited
with the JV soccer team, which he has bullied into cleaning her home for her, an outfit that he has picked out for her, and his sister to do her hair and makeup. And he bullies her into the glow up sequence,
which happened so early in the film. Yeah. I was like, this makeover scene. I thought the makeover scene was going to be a prom scene.
Yes,
I was wrong. It happens half an hour, 45 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, the movie moves fast,
and that's when they play "Kiss Me,"
when she comes down the stairs, I believe. But we see, so the sister is helping her. She tweezes her eyebrows and says she looks like Bert from Sesame Street, which we've seen her this whole movie, and that's obviously not true. So many.
Well, to be fair, we haven't seen her eyebrows because of the glasses.
True, they're covering it up.
And second of all, I couldn't help myself from screaming at the TV, a la Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, being like, stop it! No! Because the overplucking of the 90s is something that so many women have to live with. To this day, there are tiny eyebrows out there that don't want to be tiny anymore. Yeah. And it's because of that.
Because of movies like this.
There is emotional damages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that the younger sister is like shocked and appalled. Like, you don't tweeze? Have you ever tweezed your eyebrows? Like, obviously you need to be tweezing your eyebrows. Yeah, I think that speaks a lot to the overplucking epidemic of the 90s and the...
But it's all supposed to be because she has her mom is dead. That's supposed to be the reason that she apparently is like a street urchin. That she's like unaware that people tweeze their eyebrows.
Right, because the sister is asking her, like, do you wear makeup? Let me do your makeup for you. And she does some half-assed brushing on the center of her forehead, which was interesting. But Lainey says, no, I never wear makeup because my mom died before I was old enough for this stuff, which is when we find out a little more about that. And then we, again, just move right past it. The sister says, trust me, we're going to have to change your hair. Okay, she like chops almost all of it off.
Literally is now now she's cutting hair.
Now she's a hairstylist.
Like beyond a little makeup.
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting. I'm curious to your thoughts on this. When the sister introduces her, so they've done the makeup. She's about to come down the stairs in her little outfit, her hair done, her makeup done. The sister says, the new, not improved, but different.
Loved that.
Lainey.
I loved that.
Yeah. I was surprised.
That was great.
I was surprised, but I liked it a lot.
Yeah. A little act of resistance from the sister. Loved it.
Yeah.
But then Lainey, she has to say that 85 times before Lainey will actually come down.
Lainey's.
And then, of course, because we can't believe that Lainey is graceful.
No.
So she has to fall into his arms at the bottom of the stairs, just like in Miss Congeniality.
Well, she does have these enormous red pumps. Like, they're very tall.
Yes, but there's a tall platform at the base.
True.
It's not as tall as it
That's
seems.
True. It's an illusion.
And it's a block heel.
It's a chunky heel.
It's important that we all know it's a chunky heel. But, yeah.
Little red dress,
so
chunky red
heel. She
heel.
still can't be... Yeah, she still can't fit in the box, so we have to make her fall into his arms.
He catches her. She seems very uncomfortable. She's like trying to cover her body. I wish someone gave her a little cardigan or something because she just seems like she doesn't like it.
A shawl, a pashmina.
Give her something. Her brother mimes making out at her as both of them leave. And so,
Kieran Culkin,
we've had the glow up sequence. Jesus, I don't know why I want to say grown up sequence so bad. A little Freudian slip there for you.
Well, we can unpack that.
We can unpack that afterwards. We touched a little on this. What do we think we're learning so far from the movie about what makes women desirable and what makes men desirable and attractive?
They're skinny. They're white. They're hot. They have tiny little faces and bodies. She has such a tiny face. Did you notice that? Just very tiny features. Yeah. A man should tower over them.
The height difference.
She should wear a block heel, A block heel that makes it harder for her to run away from the man who won't stop showing up at her house.
Yeah. Persistence. Yeah, I think we learn a lot about Freddie is hot, obviously, but he is also portrayed as like...
Obviously?
Oh, I mean, his face is extremely symmetrical, mathematically, is what I mean by that. But yeah, again, he's white, he's athletic, he's thin, he's tall, but he gets a lot of character traits, I think, that are supposed to be what make him attractive to us as an audience compared to some of his friends who are also white with symmetrical faces and athletic. Like his friend Dean, especially. Dule Hill, as a black actor, I think is relegated to more of a comedic role, which is a problem in Hollywood that they do pretty frequently. It's like either hypersexualized as a black actor or desexualized entirely. His friend Dean is portrayed as someone who's also sort of a ladies' man, but the audience is not supposed to like him because he's an asshole. Whereas what makes Freddie's character attractive to the audience, I think, is that he is also smart. He ultimately has good intentions. He wants to be a nice guy, even though somehow he agreed to this bet in the first place. Like, that's not a very nice thing to do. He objectifies women just as much. But somehow these other character traits make him a desirable guy to the audience in a way that I think Dean is not supposed to be.
Yeah. And it's not as though this bet was made in any serious manner, right? It's not like it's like, I'm going to owe you all this money or there's some sort of manipulation. It's like you got to show up naked at prom or at graduation. And I think that Freddie Prinze Jr. could be like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Like, the world will spin, but he doesn't even attempt to call off the bet at any point.
No, not at any point, which would piss me off as Lainey. But anyway, we'll get to that part later. So, yeah, she comes down the stairs. She's beautiful now for the first time in the movie.
Well, she took off her glasses.
She took off her glasses, and she's wearing red. Lainey and Zach go to this house party together. It's being held while Dule Hill's parents are out of town. It's an extremely huge mansion. They must be unfathomably wealthy. One of the girls from earlier comes up and asks Zach if she can borrow Lainey, who looks confused and uncomfortable. He ultimately says yes, and she thanks him and then takes Lainey away.
Oh, yeah. Not lost on me. She does not communicate directly with Lainey at all, and he gives permission for her to go up.
That was horrible.
Speak to like twins or something. I don't know. It was stupid.
Yeah, I hated that. And then, so this was really functional so that we could get a moment where Zach's friend asks him, "Are you here with Lainey?" And Zach says, "I brought her here if that's what you mean." So basically denying that there's any emotional attachment there. We also get to see, and I want to hear your thoughts on this again, because of your experience in the theater and stage and musicals. Matthew Lillard does a beautiful choreographed dance routine in the center of this house party.
I love it. I loved his dance routine. And that's what like leads Taylor to be like, I'm over this guy. I cannot
She's
be
so
seen
embarrassed.
with a man who is this embarrassing. But he does a really, and you know, I'm convinced it was improv. It really had
I don't think
been.
it was.
It had Matthew Lillard written
It
all
wasn't.
over it. He was doing barrel rolls over Dule Hill's back.
But okay.
Which I loved.
On the Wikipedia page, I did read that there was some like back and forth about, because there's another choreographed dance routine later at the prom. There was a little back and forth about this that was this is strange. What the hell is this? And that Matthew Lillard, like, that they worked a lot with him on his routine. Like, maybe he's not a natural dancer. I don't know. He seemed natural to me. He did a great job, I thought. Lainey runs off. Zach follows her outside. She's crying, says she promised herself, "I'd never let them see me cry." He tries to comfort her.
No, he does a terrible. He does not try to comfort her. He thinks he's trying.
He does a bad job.
He's like, what? They don't mean it. It's fine. Let me invalidate your feelings.
Yes. Well, okay. This is his little advice, his sage advice he gives in this moment that I'm not sure I understand. He says, like, when you open up to people, like, sometimes you let the bad in with the good. As if it's like, yeah, it's fine. People treat you like shit. Like, you just get over it.
Right.
Like,
just get used to it because this is what happens when you interact with people. Which, I mean, is not incorrect, but that is not what you say to this person who was just harmed by your ex-girlfriend.
No.
You say, I am so sorry. I can't believe that she did that. Or maybe I can believe it, and I am so sorry that you got caught in the crosshairs. Right?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Do you need anything?
Let me take you home. Not, what are you doing, Lainey? You're inconveniencing me.
Yeah, she has to ask him, like, I'm going home. Take me home now. Right. He doesn't offer, like, do you want me to take you home? Do you want to leave or go somewhere else?
After she has fallen to the ground. She fell yet again.
In the gravel. In the gravel.
Not a bit of help.
But then we are at school the next day. People are noticing Lainey. They're saying how cool she is. Usher's announcing on the intercom that she's been nominated for prom queen. And lots of people are voting for her. We see people campaigning for her. We see that Taylor's friends have had about enough of her attitude. We see Zach struggling at soccer practice. He's not doing as well. As usual, his friends ask him about it. Dean, we get another really good little tidbit into how we see sexuality for young men. Dean says, asks if he's having withdrawal, because it has been a while since you've gotten any, right? Something like that can really screw with a guy's concentration.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. That locker room scene was infuriating. And then they fight.
It was. They fight a little bit because Dean says, like, I'm maybe going to try to sleep with either Lainey or Taylor since you're kind of not with either of them. And then it turns out Dean reveals he's resented Zach for a long time and says, this is one contest you're going to lose.
Oh, my God. Journal it, Dean. I can't.
Or stop being friends. You don't have to hang out with him.
You don't have to be friends.
So I thought it was interesting. We get a little there of reinforcing that, like, somehow men are very much ruled by sexuality. Like, it must be satisfied in order for them to be functional in other ways.
Correct. Yes. That, like, I'm out of control and I can't be held responsible for the things I do in the name of sex, right? It's that, yet again, that rape culture BS that's like, I just, like, I need to, or else I'm going to die.
Yeah, I can't focus. Brother. I can't do sports. I can't do anything. It's hurting me constantly to not have access to sex.
That's enough.
You'll be fine. Go masturbate. Get it off your mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll live. You'll live. And also harmful for young men who don't always feel that way. Right. They don't always feel distracted by sex. And some of them, especially young asexual or demisexual men, might be feeling like, is something wrong with me that sex isn't actually always on my mind? Right. Like, we see Zach. He visits Lainey while she's working on an art piece in her basement. Mm-hmm. This is where she shares a little about her mom. Of course, the one comment Zach has about her mom is that she's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. And then Lainey says, not everything's hereditary.
It's like, oh my God, Lainey, stop it.
Lainey, come the fuck on. They almost kiss. I want to hear your thoughts about this kiss because he stops when she wants to ask a little about what's happening with prom and the king and queen thing. But the way the kiss almost happens is she just freezes and closes her eyes and waits for him to come into the kiss. She's not very active in this kiss at all.
No, she's ready to be kissed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and she does, like, ready herself to be kissed, right? She closes her eyes and she leans in and she just keeps a conversation going while she's there. And she keeps her eyes closed for far too long while they're having this conversation. It's a very uncomfortable moment, but it yet again is like she is an object to be desired. She is an object to be chosen by him. And she's here to accommodate. Even as she says all of these really true and fantastic things to, like, poke holes in his worldview and the way he shows up.
About his privilege.
While still following the program, right? She's still doing what is expected of her, even as she says that she doesn't want to. That, like, incongruence is something.
It sure is something. I really wonder if some of that is the ways in which she has to conform to, like, the mainstream cultural ideas about what is acceptable behavior for young women. because it does contrast very much with Taylor, the villain, who is very direct and overt about like, okay, I want to be kissed now. I want to have sex now. I have desires and I will act to make them happen.
Yeah.
I have agency over them, even if she isn't kind to other people in the process, which she could work on. Whereas Lainey is more like, well, maybe I do want him to kiss me. Maybe I am into him, but I certainly can't be the one who reaches in for the kiss. I have to sort of wait till he wants to, and he does that.
I can't be direct in this one area. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't have too much desire. That's not appropriate, maybe.
He's all flustered because she interrupts the kiss. Like, in her own way.
Yeah.
She's not a dum-dum. Like, she stops the kiss by asking.
She says, what's happening with prom?
Yeah. So she
are we going?
I think it's like I have compassion for that moment for her because I think to me it shows that we can still, even if it is done imperfectly or awkwardly or in a clunky way, asking the questions that you want to ask and following what's in your gut is the move, right? Like, she obviously had questions and wanted to know where they stood with each other. And maybe she started to assume the position for a kiss and then still said her thing, which is better than nothing. I think that it gets to be imperfect and authentic and awkward.
I thought that was great. Fine. And I think it totally fits, like, within her character, too, as someone who, like, is maybe starting to be open to some connections, but is still nervous and uncertain about them. And especially with Zach, she's not sure exactly what his opinion or feelings towards her are, and she wants some clarity. I think it totally makes sense for her character. I just was thinking, too, that maybe, like, from a script writing perspective, that also serves to enforce she's the main character, and we can just like her more than Taylor because she is maybe a little more passive sexually. But yeah, she asks about prom, which immediately threatens him because he is indecisive, his main flaw, and he also is sort of an asshole, so he just sort of leaves.
From here, the journey to me is really like the journey of Dean and Zach having an unresolved conflict in their relationship because Dean goes forward and asks Lainey to the prom and then very very purposefully outs the bet to Lainey in front of Freddie Prinze Jr. and causes this harm to her. And it's very clear that for Dean, it is not about having any sort of crush or feelings for Lainey. His goal is to cause harm to Freddie Prinze Jr. and to be the quote-unquote dominant winner of this person's desire. And I don't even think it's about her desiring him. It's about him winning her as a trophy over Freddie Prinze Jr. It's nothing to do with Lainey.
Yes. Not at all. It's very much a misogynistic worldview of she's simply an extension of Freddie Prinze Jr. and a way to hurt him.
Yeah. So he hurts her. We have the classic sad montage of people getting ready for prom, not going with the people they want to go with. Freddie takes his sister, which I kind of love. He and his sister have such a fun vibe. Yeah. And, like, to be the coolest guy at school.
I like that he didn't break down. Yeah, because Taylor she was forceful with him, like, pick me up at 8. She was assuming that he's going to come get her and come with her. And he knows that she has that expectation and decided, I don't like her, though, and I don't want to do that. I'll go with my sister since Lainey is rejecting me at this point in time. And he just accepts that. I'm surprised he wasn't more persistent, but I'm pleased.
Yeah, they have a grand old prom, you know? Lainey is all sad in her basement, and her dad comes in and has that annoying conversation where he's apologizing for hurting her by, like, having so many expectations of her to take over the co-parenting of her little brother, and says she should go to prom, she doesn't want to, have a heart-to-heart, and then he's like, there's a guy upstairs, and it's Dean.
Ew. But he does say to her, go have fun and have fun for you, not for anyone else.
Which is cute. That part I like. Dean continues to be Dean throughout, where he's like, I mean, yeah, I was an asshole, but I still took a chance and didn't find someone else to take. And
code for no one else would fucking go with him because he's a douchebag.
Right. I find the rest of this film, quite honestly, like anticlimactic. Like they go to prom. They realize that Dean is in the bathroom talking about getting lucky that night and how he got a hotel room for him and Lainey. And so
I spent $300 on this.
Yeah, Lainey's friend and Zach's younger sister team up and try to tell Zach and Lainey and warn that that's what's going to happen.
They try to tell Zach. I thought that was very bizarre, is that they don't seem to try to find Lainey to tell her once they hear about this plot. They try to tell Zach, which again is the sort of like, I don't know, Lainey doesn't get to have her own ownership over this for some reason, and Zach ultimately is the one who this hurts the most, that he has this gross...
So he gets his, like, prom king crown, and so does Taylor, obviously. Taylor wins, and he's about to make some heartfelt speech about all he's learned in this last month or so, but then he takes off running to try and save Lainey because she's a damsel in distress. And what I love is that we see Lainey closing a door, but it's to her family home. So she did not go with Dean. And in fact, because once again, Zach will not take no for an answer, he's been hanging at home with her dad and brother waiting for her to get home. Yes. And she pulls out an air horn that she blew,
a little mini air horn,
Dean's ear when he tried to, like, be
coercive,
problematic with her. Yeah. So it's like, we don't need you, Zach. And then they slow dance by a pool, and that's it. That's the whole thing.
They slow dance by the pool. They kiss. He confesses. He's like, I made that bet before I really knew you or myself. And somehow that's enough. And he says, can I have the last dance? And she says, no, you can have the first.
You can have the first. Here's the thing I have to confess to you, though, Blair, is that...
Okay, confess it.
I know cognitively how damaging the messages in these kinds of movies are. And yet there's something so comforting in the simplicity and stupidity of movies like this. Yeah. It's like eating a favorite snack that's terrible for you. It's like I am comforted by the predictability of these sorts of terrible 90s movies. There's a nostalgia, there's a simplicity, and I am not mad I watched it. Not mad I watched it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think sort of what is, like, tough about these, especially as a teenager watching them, is that it's appealing because it presents a relatively, like, despite some of the drama, straightforward romance and a path toward, a happy ending. So maybe someone will treat me like shit or objectify me, be mean to me. Maybe I will go through some really horrible experiences, but ultimately, maybe I'll have a partner and then that's my happy ending at the end. Everything's great if I have a partner at the end of it and I get to be hot. So that's all that matters, right? And it's not complicated. So it's appealing.
And you're still you at the end of it all.
Well, and so you're still you at the end of it all. I feel like this movie, maybe... I don't think it did this intentionally, but unintentionally, I think it says some things about the role of romance in the development of your sense of self, especially as a teenager, because Lainey and Zach both seemed to, the way the script was written, not like in actuality, need the romance to become better versions of themselves, to be more authentic to the rest of who they are. Like Zach to be able to make decisions, Lainey to be able to let people in and be emotionally vulnerable, and to be as hot as I guess she's capable of being, which is a weird... Oh. You're supposed to try to be hot if you can, I guess. Whatever. But that seems to be something we're maybe meant to take away from the movie, or very easily could take away, especially as teens, is like, oh, okay, so romance is how I become who I'm supposed to be.
And I will say that it is one way that we become who we are becoming, right? I think relationship and community and intimacy in many ways are big components of how we discover what is important to us, what our values are, how we be brave, how we develop communication skills. I think all of that can be true. The issue, I mean, the way
amongst
the stories
many
are told and all of the amongst many. But one issue is that all we see are these stories through the lens of romantic and sexual relationships between hot, straight, white people.
Yeah.
And we don't see the many other ways, or it's not labeled as important, the stories about love and figuring out who we are in friendship or in family relationships or in relationship to ourselves. Yeah. So I think, romance and sexual intimacy can be really important ways that we learn who we are. And it's not the only way. And therein lies the rub.
Yeah. Yeah, the rub, as it were. Yeah, because like I sort of alluded to this, the movie really rushed and introduced very late tension between Dean and Zach that could have been a really interesting source of personal growth for both of them, is working through the resentment that Dean seems to have for Zach being this perfect guy at everything he does, and what that means to Dean about himself. But the movie didn't think that really mattered. It was just about the romance. That's all.
Yeah.
So,
what's your healthy ever after, Blair? Pitch it to me. Give me our final scene that takes place after the credits.
I need Lainey to go to her art school counseling center and start reading the book Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents, and process the grief of the loss of her mother very young, because it sounds like she never really processed that. She's got a lot of personal work to do in that regard. I need Freddie Prinze Jr. to also, whatever Ivy League school he goes to, go to his counseling center and start unpacking who his actual sense of self is and how he knows what he wants and not what is the correct choice, quote unquote, especially per his dad.
I'm ready for him to read some bell hooks.
Yes.
You know, I think that could be a fun twist for him.
Yeah.
And maybe he gets into performance art.
He seemed like he liked it.
My wish is not more improv for the world, but I think for him it seemed to be really confidence building.
Yeah.
To realize that, like, I can make decisions in the moment that are
meaningful,
good
and expressive,
and generative and meaningful.
Yeah, maybe he joins his college improv team, you know, like find some community there and expressing himself and having to make decisions quickly. I feel like that would be great for him. Taylor, I feel like just needs to learn to be a little kinder to the people around her. Otherwise, I don't think she's doing too bad. I think she just needs to be a little more considerate of how others feel.
Yeah, and, you know, just become aware of her obsession with power and figure out what are ways. Maybe she becomes a community organizer. You know, she understands how power works.
She sure does.
She leverage that understanding.
Yeah,
you know?
She can motivate people.
Oh, yeah.
Keep her out of politics directly, because I think that will go straight to her head and be extremely dangerous. Don't let her in politics.
Yeah, not safe.
No, not safe for her at all. Matthew Lillard, I see an Emmy for reality TV in his future.
I'm happy for him.
I see many other reality TV show appearances as a sort of reality TV star. I don't know what hope he has for maturing, honestly.
Blair,
what?
We didn't talk about my favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh my god, what's your favorite part? Tell me.
The prom dance scene.
Oh yeah, we totally skipped over. Okay, we also skipped.
There's a choreographed dance scene.
A beautiful one, yeah.
I was taken with the choreography. It was such strong choices, and it was totally not in the universe of this show.
Had nothing to do with anything.
And so I looked up. It was Adam Shankman, who some of you might know from judging So You Think You Can Dance, season 6 and 7. He also directed A Walk to Remember. He choreographed Hairspray.
Oh my god.
He was also a backup dancer for Paula Abdul and Janet Jackson. Very reputable.
Big deal.
Choreographer. I was like, of course. It was like true avant-garde artistry. I'll watch the dance scene again.
The group dance scene at the prom. That was fun. I liked that. I did also like that there's some kid attended prom with a like inflatable sex doll. And you just see him about in the background amongst the extras. That was interesting to include that. I guess it's, the comedy element coming in.
On that note, I think Mom's on her way home, so I might have to run.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I know. I cannot wait to dive into more cinematic treasures with you.
I'm so excited.
What are we doing next?
What are we doing next? I don't know. Hold on.
I think we might be watching a TV show.
Yes, definitely a TV show. So next time we're going to be watching Sailor Moon, the problematic DIC dub from our 90s memory, Sailor Moon.
It's going to be my first time, and I'm pretty excited.
I'm so excited for your first time watching Sailor Moon, and I'm really glad I get to be a part of it.
Thank you. I'm glad you're part of my first time, too. Thanks, Blair.
Anytime.
Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us today on Mom's Not Home Till 6. Leave us a rating or review wherever you listen to the show. Pitch us your alternate ending or send show suggestions to momsnothometill6@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Mom's Not Home Till 6 or on Blue Sky at Mom's Not Home. You can become a friend with benefits of the pod on Patreon at the Dress Rehearsal Studio. Right now, we are in the middle of a Bridgerton slumber party where we go deep with each episode. And as always, we extend our gratitude to the queer and trans characters and communities who have made it possible to be the people we are today. And to you for listening. Now, be sure to change that TV channel back to something appropriate before Mom gets home. Catch you next time.